check out management system cycle. You can see that mirrored there. 2 is the implementation and operation, which will include allocation of resources, roles, responsibilities, authority, training, awareness and competence, operational control procedures and operational management. Everything that you really need. It's already within a 14001 system. Then we have the next item, checking and corrective action. Now that will also include evaluation of compliance with 14001. But it's here where we define and run monitoring and measurement systems. And finally, a typically annual management review. I'll just go back. That, very quickly, is how 14001 management system works. But you'll see a lot of service companies and the commercial sector looking at carbon management. There's a reason for that. It's because energy use is one of their key environmental issues. So if they were to do a 14001 approach of looking at their environmental aspects, evaluation of their significant aspects, automatically energy using activities, transport, running offices, just your typical office utilities would probably be, well, they would be the most significant aspects. So 14001 would have said, right, deal with those objectives and targets through the do, check, act cycle. Management systems also can teach us something in terms of their development, the development of standards. There was multiple standards, there were multiple country by country standards for management systems. Ireland had its own, England and Wales and Scotland had theirs. There were other standards in Germany, etc. They became ISO 14001, PSEN, ISO eventually, but there's also EMAS obviously. EMAS has adopted ISO 14001 as the management system core. What I think I'd like to see, and I look forward to hearing more of during the conference, is more on standards as they're approaching standardisation, particularly on things like scoping of carbon management systems. I think it's a core topic, and as I say, I look forward to hearing more on that. So I really wanted to sum up by looking at the potential issue, perhaps not a real issue, of business efficiency versus energy efficiency. There is a danger of a multi-management system approach, duplicated responsibility, over-complexity. I think that is a key. I said earlier with one of the questions. Over-precision can be used as an excuse for inaction, and it mustn't be. There is a danger that occasionally, with this type of thing, we can be marketing-driven. And again, there is any number of decision-making factors that we need to look at. Not just the marketing department, not just carbon. We need to think about the consumers, the customers, their wants and needs. And I guess a good example would be the Welsh sheep. Well, there's a requirement and an interest in carbon management, carbon footprinting, and a carbon standard. But there is also an interest in organic farming. And we have to give the choice as to a set of labels, perhaps. Is a set of labels viable? But we need to give the consumer, the customer, choice and full knowledge, and carbon is not all of it. There's any number of issues. I guess I would also like to emphasise that there's an opportunity here. EMSs, in my experience, haven't been implemented well in the past. They need to be just a part of doing business. And I heard some quotes, I could take some sound bites from earlier. Bart mentioned the approach as a way of life, just the way they do business. BT talked about business as normal. That's a rarity in terms of environmental management. Too often it's a manual sat on the shelf somewhere else, or it's the environmental manager's responsibility. My view is that the current focus on carbon, the current interest in carbon issues, is an opportunity to take your own environmental management system and give it a shake-up and make it become a fully integrated part of the way that you do business. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. I think we have time for a couple of questions. So are there any questions?
Yeah, Heather Papworth from Research Institute. I'm also an advocate of looking at the entire environmental issues, not just carbon management, so looking at biodiversity issues and sustainable resource management as well. My question is, what's your opinion on ISO 14064, which specifically does look at emissions?
Yeah, I think that it's an excellent step forward in terms of an approach that people can take and use, and it's an important part of standardisation. However, I don't think that it is all things to all people, and a lot more work needs to be done. I think that we are going to see this difficulty of comparing standards, especially on consumer products, and how many labels can we actually have. Perhaps there is a need to look at a more in the round label to do with perhaps sustainability management systems, and perhaps that can be a kind of mark for the future.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Andy. We're now going to move on to our next session on employing renewables. And to start off, we've got a case study. I'd like to invite Phil Pennington to the stage. Phil is the director of the Combined Heat and Power Association, and he's going to talk about reducing emissions through combined heat and power. Phil?
Okay, perhaps we'll move on to the next case study and we'll have Phil afterwards. Pete, are you okay to be number one? Sorry. Okay, I'll just introduce Pete. Pete is Social Responsibility Manager at Manchester City Football Club.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, good afternoon now. This is the first time in a long time that Manchester City has been called up to be third. So well done. I'm absolutely sure it's a sign of things to come in the next season, whoever's at the helm. Let me introduce myself properly. For those of you that have fallen asleep, this next picture is going to certainly waken you up. And if anybody has fallen asleep, I'm going to come back to this slide, Simon again. I'm Pete Bradshaw. I am the CSR manager at Manchester City. I'm the only CSR manager in European football at the moment, though I'm aware that a couple of London clubs are about to appoint CSR managers, so my annual conference is going to take on a whole new focus from next year on. Social responsibility then. At Manchester City, our club that was formed out of the community, we were a crime diversion project 127 years ago, and this very day I will almost guarantee that my community team is working with well over 1,000 young people across Manchester and the city region in terms of crime diversion projects, environmental projects, all sorts of opportunities around life skills. And the club sees itself in this commercial day and age of football as very much a part of the community, very much a part of the city, and how the city lives, works, breathes, plays and develops. We believe